Happy Tuesday to you. It is Arizona Cards Cast. It is the 23rd of August, 2022. As we normally do, we're not going to chit-chat, blah, 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 too much. Let's get into the topics, shall we? So topic number one of the day, if I can rip this bad boy off, obviously is, I'm sure you heard that the Arizona Cardinals traded for Bills guard Cody Ford, the second-round pick in 2019. He was also obviously at Oklahoma with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray really vouched for Cody Ford. Everybody on Twitter's joking, ha 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 ha, Kyler Murray, he doesn't just call plays, he's also the new GM. Ha 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 ha. Oh, so funny. No, this spells maybe doom for Justin Murray, who has a $2.6 million cap hit at the beginning of the season. He may be going bye-bye. This may be a replacement for him. Cody Ford, this mostly is a depth move. I talked to a Bills fan who's a good friend of mine, who's a Bills fan, last night. He says he thinks the Cardinals overpaid. I'm like, a fifth-round pick for, a player who is, probably an above-average guard. He probably is more of a swing offensive lineman. He's probably not even going to be a starter. I think is a good move. I think that the Cardinals needed depth, even though it's not their biggest need. If there is an issue that I have, obviously, like our biggest need is cornerback. And then secondly would probably be edge rusher. Anyways. So, yeah, I like the trade. Good depth move. So, some folks, I'd say, on the Twitter sphere was kind of mentioning about, Kyler Murray calling plays. And here's what I kind of have to say about it, Today's generation, sometimes we have to, coddle our talented people, I guess you could say. And so the Cardinals are definitely coddling, putting their arms around Kyler Murray right now, as they should, kind of a little bit of a fractured situation, letting that, that clause get out in the contract about Kyler Murray having to watch so many hours of film and that Kyler Murray only plays video games. You could say, hey, Kyler Murray, look, Kyler's like, I don't always just call plays on Madden. I also can call plays in the game as well, if you know what I mean. But hey, they scored 14 points with Kyler Murray calling plays and only scored 3 with Cliff Kingsbury, so maybe we should just have K1 run the team. What do you think? J.J. Watt is out for the preseason with COVID-19, and, I guess I felt compelled to bring up this subject, even though I really think it's a non-story. And you want to know why it's a non-story? Come on, guys. Was J.J. Watt going to play in the preseason? I mean, I have a better chance of getting struck by a lightning with no clouds in the sky here in Las Vegas than J.J. Watt stepping on the football field with his jersey and pads and helmet on during the preseason. So yeah, this is a non-story. Hey, at least he got COVID now, I guess you could say. Well, we don't want anyone to get COVID, but COVID is going to probably affect the NFL a little bit like it did last season. Obviously, it was not as bad as it was in 2020. They've obviously tapered down the rules a little bit, the regulations, I should say, with COVID-19. But J.J. Watt, he wasn't going to play anyways. No worries, everyone. He's going to be okay. He'll be there on the field against the Chiefs in Week 1. And trust me, if you don't want Patrick Mahomes putting a 40-burger on you, you're going to need J.J. Watt to be wreaking havoc in that backfield on Sunday, September 11th, 2022. Everybody hurts sometimes. Oh, everybody hurts. I just thought I'd serenade to the Suns fans. I know that we are a Cardinal station primarily, but as we said on, Cards Cast, we're going to talk about different subjects every day. It's not just going to be 5 topics all about the Arizona Cardinals. And today we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to kind of comfort the Suns fans about Kevin Durant. He's not coming to the Valley. He's staying put in the Brooklyn. Unfortunately, the Suns, the Suns were going to give up Devin Booker. Obviously, we want to go to the Suns if Devin Booker was in the trade. And I think the Suns didn't want to give up Mikal Bridges, and I think that's probably what made this trade fall apart. And also, lastly, he's under contract in Brooklyn for 4 years, to be honest with you. Kevin Durant had very little leverage, and I applaud the Brooklyn Nets. It might change the landscape of the NBA, taking away a little bit of the player empowerment. If someone wants to get traded and they're in the last year of their contract, okay. But when you're under contract for 4 years, you sign the pen on the paper. You can't just because, things didn't go your way last year, be like, oh, I don't want to be there anymore. I want to go to a different team because Kyrie Irving is, a weirdo and a little bit unreliable. But you know what? You chose to sign that contract extension, and that's Kevin Durant. So you have to reap what you sow, I guess is what they say. So in that phrase for the Suns, I feel bad. The Suns are pretty much having to go status quo in the next season. Maybe DeAndre Ayton makes the leap. We'll see. But Kevin Durant will not be a Phoenix Sun in 2022. Hi everyone, I am back. All right. So to finish the show today, we've been doing this over the last week plus. We're going to be doing it the rest of this week. We are going through our NFL season projections. So next we have the NFC North. And as you can see, this division is a division where I have my surprise team. Everybody knows there's always a surprise team. Last year it was the Bengals that went all the way to the Super Bowl. Come on, I don't know if there's going to be like a Bengals-like rise this year or anything like that. But I will say, in the NFC North, I do see, and we'll go to that team in a minute, but first off, we have the Green Bay Packers, and I know that the Packers receivers are dropping the ball, and Aaron Rodgers is just being kind of weirdo Aaron Rodgers so far in training camp and the preseason, But some of the things that... But even though, you know what I'll say, what I like about him and McAfee? It seems like Aaron Rodgers is just... He's kind of a different cat, but he's not a bad guy, and I like that I do think he's very authentic. I'll give him that. Well... Except as long as he's talking about football and and not healthcare. Like that's Aaron. Just stick to football. Anyways, Aaron Rodgers is going to be pretty awesome. The Packers defense is going to be pretty awesome. I think 12-5. I actually think I'm selling them a little short. I actually think the Packers are going to win 13 games. They won 13 last year. They won 13 actually the previous 3 years. I think there's too much cohesion. I think it's a little bit oversold about the Devontae Adams leaving. I think that will matter a little bit, but not as much as you think. I think the Packers have one of the best rosters in the league, to be honest with you, and also arguably the best quarterback in the league. They're going to win a lot of football games. Now, to my surprise team, the Detroit Lions. I have the Lions at 9-8, and guess what? I looked at their schedule. They have a fourth-place schedule. They have a very favorable schedule. If they can beat the Eagles in Week 1, which I think is very possible, a sleeper underdog pick on Week 1, Lions over Eagles might be in my top 5. Just saying, might be in my best bets. I am going to give the Lions one more win, 10-7. Yes, that is your shocker team. Dan Campbell, biting legs and feet and all that other good stuff because he's just a wild man. Lions 10-7. They make the playoffs as a wild card. There's your shocker, everyone. There's your shocker. In the NFC, it's a little kind of mostly top-heavy, to be honest with you. There's not going to be many great teams. I mean, the Packers are going to be a good team. So can the Lions win a lot of games in the watered-down NFC? You bet they can, especially the fourth-place schedule. Now to the Vikings, 9-8. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. He is who he is. I know the Vikings have a lot of talent, but I also think that their roster is a little bit overrated. Their offensive line is concerning. I think you can throw the ball on them. I think the Vikings will be kind of like what they were last year. They'll be probably in a lot of close games, right around 500. I could be wrong, but I think the Vikings at 9-8 barely missed the playoffs. And then lastly, Chicago Bears. All right. The Bears, arguably their best player, Roquan Smith is wanting out. Justin Fields, very erratic as a rookie. You can see the talent, but do I really think that with a very watered-down roster, don't ignore the preseason. I know the Bears have looked good. They're backups in the preseason, and maybe Matt Eberflus is bringing in some discipline and blah blah blah. I don't see it. I think the Bears actually having them at 6 wins. I think is way too many. My Bears friends are going to hate me. 4-13. And I'm worried that Justin Fields may go into bust territory this year. It's the Ohio State quarterback thing. That's all I'm saying, the Ohio State quarterback thing. Just don't, Joe Burrow probably was doomed. He went to LSU, though. He was smart and actually left Ohio State. So, people forget that Joe Burrow originally signed with Ohio State. Anyway, so there we go. Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears, oh my. Follow me on Twitter at Stu Drew. We're going to talk about a lot of more cool stuff on Thursday. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.